Okay, make sure this is going well. Gonna give this a shot. This is a game I came across the other day. Reminds me a whole lot of Command & Conquer, but it's different. Forged Battalion, as you can see in the name, you make your own faction. So I didn't start this from scratch, but basically you have your tech tree over here, and as you play the game, you unlock research points. And unlocking research points gets you access to different mods and different things that you can add to your units, which you can customize over here. Now, if you look at your factory overview, this is what you can build. And basically, you're allowed 3 different types of turrets, 4 different types of aircraft, and 4 different types of your infantry, light, heavy, and aircraft. So if I were to, for example, this is my current loadout. Let me load a default blueprint so you can see what it starts off. So this default blueprint is just basic, most basic level. It's what you start with. And when you go into customize, you can then change all of these to match or to be whatever type of unit you want. And so I kind of went with a Command & Conquer theme with my infantry. So if you'll notice, I loaded the default blueprint, which threw in these guys: the MG infantry, light tank, MG buggy, rhino, light drone, and then just a regular machine gun turret. I don't have those anymore. I got rid of them. I deleted them in my faction. And I kind of made my own unit. So the way you would do it, so just to show you your own unit. So let's just go, this is like a basic infantry style unit. New unit, we're going to call this Test 1. And then once you've unlocked these different types of weapons in your tech tree, you can basically say, well, how do I want this infantry unit to work? Do I want them to use a machine gun, RPG, anti-material gun, subatomic plasma bolt, flamethrower, arc flame? And you'll notice it shows you, when I hover over it, it shows you the level of damage it will do. For example, machine gun does, you know, twice as much damage to infantry, but it only does regular damage to everything else except for what appears to be tanks and structures. Tanks or heavy vehicles and structures, it does way less damage. RPG a little different. Each one is a little different. This one here, for example, subatomic reconstructing, it basically heals your own unit, so it doesn't do damage at all. And so using these types of things that you unlock in the tech tree, and depending on how far along you are, the better the stuff is, but the more research points it costs, you can actually make your army to kind of do whatever it is you want to do. So if you'll take a look here, I have my theme. I got my GI and my Guardian GI. That's from my, you know, Red Alert 2 days. That's just your machine gunner with heavier armor. So I chose to go with improved armor as opposed to like stealth armor or armor that regenerates. And I've also unlocked insulation from radioactivity in case, you know, there's someone shoots a nuke or something at me. But I just kind of made them. So my Guardian GI uses RPG similar to Red Alert 2, and then I made what I called an engineer. This is something that heals as well as has regenerative armor, because they can't heal themselves. Well, I guess they can heal themselves if you have more than one. So these 3 tabs let you augment, and you'll notice you have your primary weapon, you have some type of support augmentation, and then you have a movement augmentation that you can add. Now, I haven't unlocked any movement augmentations for infantry units, but here's kind of what I've made. And Arc Trooper's kind of my own little thing. I got the arc flame, and I liked how much damage that dealt across the board, and so I decided to go ahead. Now it is build level 3, which means in your in-game tech tree you have to have like your super weapon build before you can build these guys. IFV, light tank, Mirage tank. So I set Mirage tank here. If you remember from Red Alert, your Mirage tank did pretty good damage against infantry, and if you'll take a look with the fire, it does really good damage against infantry. Can't hit flying, and it's a Mirage tank, so I gave it the refractive armor, so it's stealth, and then movement. I gave it the light treaded chassis to make it more of like a tank itself. My IFV, that's kind of like, again, that's like if you put a infantry in an IFV from Red Alert 2, and then my mobile SAM is kind of like if you put a Guardian GI in there. Light tank is not really a tank per se, but it's my version of a light tank. It's going to be throwing out grenades. Deals decent damage against buildings, turrets, and heavy vehicles. And then I made a medium tank, what I called a mobile Grand Cannon. My version of what a prism tank would be in this game, and then some new type of unit that I decided to make, something I called a silent walker. Again, all I'm doing is selecting what type of weapon I want, the support I want on it, and what type of movement. In this case, I wanted the walker legs. So this has a cannon, refractive armor, and walks. Prism tank has a plasma cannon, regenerative armor, and that's the green showing there, and has treads. Mobile Grand Cannon, I like how this kind of walks around. It sets up. It's good artillery. And then I noticed I didn't add any tank treads. Now you might be saying, well, why wouldn't you add all the best of the best? And it's because of the cost. And if you'll notice the little numbers here, 1, 2, and then if I come over here to my arc, trooper is a 3, my engineer's a 3. That's your tech build in game. So like I can't build these guys until I'm at the 3rd tier of tech. So I made sure I have at least one unit that's at the 1st tier in each of mine, so that even if I can't achieve additional tech tier, I can build all of. I at least can make a general army. So you'll take a look here. These 3 require level 2 tech, while medium tank is only level 1 tech. Your flying units, these are all considered drones, which is funny because in game they talk, but it is what it is. So the best weapon, best thing that I've unlocked is level 3, tier 3. Also, you'll notice the price on them. If I come over here, this medium tank doesn't have much, and I didn't even put any treads on it. All I did literally was just give it a cannon. No support, no movement, but it's level 1, and it costs less. So this is a way for me to still be able to churn out units if I'm having a hard time with resources. Taking a look here, I got 4 different types of drones that I've made. Pretty self-explanatory. Rocket, gunner, bomber. The only one that is a little different here is this Sentinel drone. Has a plasma gun mount to it, which does pretty good damage, if you'll see down there, across the board, except for the light vehicles and infantry. Gave it regenerative armor. I think I gave most of these regenerative armor except for my bomber. My bomber's going to be sitting around a little bit longer. These guys are going to be kind of flying in, hitting and leaving. That's how I'm going to use them. So the regenerative armor I think is better. And then turrets. Again, go into my CNC days. My cheapest, lightest turret right here, tier 1, I call it a pillbox. Obviously it's not a pillbox, it's a turret, but it's the same vein. There's no boosts or any add-ons to it. Flame tower does pretty much what you would expect a flame tower to do, like in Red Alert 1. Prism tower is just their plasma cannon. Does basically what you see a prism tower doing in Red Alert 2. And then I made what I called a SAM site. Now you'll notice I don't have the 4th one checked because with turrets you can't have more than 3. So each loadout, like every time that I unlock new tech in my tree, I can change or build my loadout, customize it, and then make units that I want to make. Name them what I want to name them. Basically borrow the tech from the tech tree and just kind of build how I want to build. I'm just using, oh excuse me, I'm just using my love of Red Alert 2 to try to build units that remind me of playing Red Alert 2. So it's pretty fun. And when you click on faction overview here, you have your faction name, your blueprints, and it goes through and it shows you basically your entire loadout. Oh yeah, super weapons and HQ upgrade. I guess we can do that. I forgot. Down here, you can change. So like your headquarters, you can have improved armor. I have mine set to HQ with fusion power, so that basically takes all of my power plants when I put them down, and instead of doing 300 power, they do 600. So every power plant is worth like 2 for me now. Let's see here. Yeah, I can put refractive armor on. Make all of my make my headquarter like invisible. Then super weapons. I've only unlocked 2. Rocket bombardment is the basic one you get, and then turtle mode I thought was interesting. I have never used it, but when you have it saved up, if people start to get in your base, you can just press a button and your whole base just goes underground. Now you lose all functionality, but I guess you don't lose your base, and that's good. Anyway, so let's see here. That's the tech tree. Now you can earn your research points from doing missions, like campaign missions, from ranked play and from unranked play. You can even do it from skirmishes against just the computer. And there's actually multiplayer maps that people have made explicitly so that you can go in and just wreck a bunch of like buildings and stuff and get a bunch of crates and get as much research points as possible. So I mean, I imagine it'd be pretty easy to max out the tree as soon as you wanted to, but it's no fun in that. And you see, I've really not played much. I've done the first mission several times. I did the level 1 star one a bunch of times, so I figured out what I was doing. Then I made my faction a special way, and then I went to level 2, made my faction a special way, and went to level 3. So I guess I'll run through the first mission right now. I'll go ahead and run through it, I guess, on level 1, just so you can kind of get an idea and see how the game plays. That's pretty fun. Oh, and I went and I set a bunch of the key bindings. That's the only thing I don't like.
This is the HQ.
Well, I'll
it
let him
controls
talk.
all the functions of the MMP. With this, we can construct above-ground factories and support structures.
All right, so let me pause it real quick. That's one thing I don't like about it. In the options, you can set key bindings to different things. So you can have your hotkeys that you're used to for other RTS games, but I'm a Command & Conquer player, and I'm used to the mouse buttons being a different way than they are for this game, and there's no way to change them. And I checked all in the key bindings. I even emailed the developer asking, am I just missing this? And the developer responded that no, I'm not missing it. It's just not something they put in the game. And they said they will think about it. I forget. They probably had a few people already ask about it. Anyway, so if you look down here, here's your tech. You got units. I can't build anything yet. You'll notice some of my units are missing hotkeys. That's because I've assigned those hotkeys to other things and never thought to reassign them. So we'll start off here with our refinery. And this over here, this is your ore. And your harvesters, you'll start off with 1 harvester out already. And when this builds, it'll start to activate, and then you'll throw out another harvester. And it's just like Command & Conquer. You have to have your tech tree. If you'll notice your units, if you hover over it, you'll see down there at the bottom, it shows you what you need.
Factories can build all kinds of things, but we don't know how yet.
So do a power plant.
Constructing.
So here's our little units here.
Okay.
Power plant complete.
Alright. Just because I'm a greedy person, we're going to throw that down.
Constructing.
And I'm going to go ahead now. You can build a harvester as long as you have HQ. So I'm going to throw another harvester out. That'll give me 4 harvesters, and that ought to give me a pretty decent overturn on money.
Refinery complete.
Okay, so now we'll throw the barracks down. Let's just chuck them right
Constructing.
there. And so I'm going to set my rally point over here.
Looks like you're getting the hang of that collective tech. Don't let up. We'll need more than that to send them packing.
Yeah, need more. Yeah, and your objectives over here, you can turn them on and off right here if you want. In-game time right here. For this mission, I'm looking to probably rush them
Barracks complete.
sometime between 5 and 8 minutes, depending on how quickly I do this. I tend to go for the communication tower next.
Constructing.
If I have the funds for it, which I just got the funds for it. And technically you could send, so like I click this guy and I could be like, well, I want, so here's my mini map. And he's like, well, go over here and check that out, right? So I can just click him on the mini map and he'll run that way. Same with this guy.
I'm here. Scouting ahead.
Now the fog of war is not like a Command and Conquer fog of war. Like once you're out of an area, there's like a secondary fog. Like you see what was there, but you don't see. So like there's a denser fog that's being eliminated, the darker fog.
Center complete.
But you'll notice as he leaves an area, there's a lighter fog
now
staying.
available.
Okay. So that gives me access to my Guardian GI. I'm gonna go and throw 3 of those down. And we'll do, I guess we'll run with the light vehicle factory. Wait, I probably should have built a power plant. Oh well, I'll build a power plant when that's over. Oh yeah, turrets. There you go. You can build turrets 1 at a time too when it's out. Again, they're gonna have no power because I didn't plan anything because I'm retarded. But there's your turret. They're sitting here. They build on a separate
light factory complete.
Tech. So we got our light factory complete.
Turret
Let's go ahead
complete.
and throw down another power plant.
Constructing. Constructing. Power plant
Right, there we go.
complete.
Now we got some power. We're good. Okay, so I got a light vehicle. Let's go ahead and throw the heavy vehicle down now. We'll put him right here.
Constructing.
Again, set my rally point. I'm gonna set it over here.
Turret
We got
complete.
these guys here. Now I'm gonna make a little faction here. So what I'll do is I'll hold Control, press 1. Now I've got my one group. Put them here. And if I ever want to call back to them, I just double tap on 1 and it gives me.
Heavy factory complete.
Okay. Alright, so heavy factory complete. Let's go ahead and set that there too. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with we'll get a couple medium tanks, and I want to. Here we go. And I'll throw a couple of Mirage in there too. We'll see kind of what kind of faction we get built. It's 5 minutes. Hopefully, I don't know how long it'll take. Hopefully, it won't take too long. And I'd like to rush them right around 8 minutes or so before they get to me. And if I want, like I said, I set my key bindings how I wanted, so whatever you press is different. Like for me to select all units on screen, it's usually Control A in this game, but I set it for T. Here we go. So there's one of my little quote-unquote Mirage tanks.
Coordinates received.
He's invisible as long as he's not firing.
Moving into position.
So now we're just kind of waiting. I'm building up resources here. I know where they are. They're right over here, directly opposite me. I guess I could send. Let's go ahead and send old Billy over there.
Infantry here.
We'll call him number 2. We'll send number 2 over here. See what's happening.
Okay.
I'll go back. Go ahead and throw my final turret right here. This ought to be
Constructing.
where I can put him. There's my little guys. I like them.
Awaiting orders.
I like my little mobile Grand Cannons. Again, I took that. I used to play the French faction when I played Red Alert 2, so I like a good artillery.
Turret complete.
I'm not a big fan of the Air Force, the aircraft thing, but I mean, I imagine you use them. I guess I should go ahead and drop one. Just
According to recon, their main camp should be around here somewhere.
Constructing.
let's see what little Billy's doing. All I did was double tap on 2 so I can move over to him.
What? Scavengers. Push them out now.
Right away.
Go on, Billy.
Scouting ahead.
Get out of there.
Sure thing.
Let's see if he can make it his way back.
Air factory complete.
Guess I should throw a turret down over here in
Constructing.
case they start coming that way. Let's see where my units are. I guess all my units are done. There's my last little walker. Alright, so
Yes, Commander.
we'll go ahead and change them to group
Turret
1.
complete.
Move them out here. Looks like they must have engaged in somebody. Yep.
Awaiting orders. Commander. Go ahead. Location received. Moving on.
Now, obviously, I could differentiate my artillery from my other units and select 1, 2, and 3, and then have them
Relocating.
micromanage who's attacking what. But for this mission, I don't really need to. Alright, but I am going to go ahead and build a handful of these guys down here to have in my base in case something offhanded happens.
Location received.
Forward.
Moving.
Location confirmed.
Yeah, it's right about 8 minutes. That's when I wanted to kind of rush in. Let's hope I have enough firepower. I may not. Probably not, now that I'm looking at it. If I take these turrets out, you come around up over here. See if I can at least just mess with their power plants. Alright, so yeah, that's going to be a bad attack. Let's go ahead and add a few more. Here. Alright, so we got their power down at least. Did we get 2? Yay. Alright, so I'll do what you do. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sent you to the slaughter. Anyway. I guess I can go ahead. I think... Yeah, I can build my super weapon. Do I have enough power? Let's go ahead and put a power plant down.
Constructing.
Reporting. On it. Order received.
Constructing. Power plant complete.
Good. All right. So we'll put the super weapon down. That'll give me access to a couple of these other units. That would be helpful.
Turret complete. Constructing.
Hey, Steve made it, or Billy, whatever his name was.
Ah, Commander.
Yeah. Well, you've earned it, bud. You can go retire. Here, you come over here.
Okay.
Just hang out back there. All right, here comes the show.
Turret under attack.
Let's-
Ready for order.
They got antsy in the pantsy. They sent their the little crew that they just saved from me.
Turret complete. Constructing.
And now they're running. Pop that one, pop that one, pop that one. Alright,
Location received.
let's come on back. Now that I got this built,
Super weapon control complete.
so now I can do this. This little guy right here, pretty useful. my little engineer.
Ready to go. Heading to
Put you
location.
out this way.
Right away.
Awaiting orders.
Turret complete.
One there.
Loaded and ready.
Okay, so this one here
Infantry
will
awaiting
come out
orders. Copy
and
that.
she'll heal. I get 2 of those.
About
There we
time.
go.
I'm on the
I
job.
set them down, and hopefully they'll start to identify who they can heal. Alright, so now that we've got that access to that, additionally we've got access to my ARC Trooper. My ARC Trooper is pretty legit. Like I just got that last night. Like I'm pretty happy with that guy.
Yes, Commander.
Or
Copy that.
here comes my ARC Trooper, nice and
Locked
stealthy.
loaded.
They got some damage on them. They hit pretty hard. It's pretty good.
Moving.
Forward.
And they can hit in the air and everything. They're pretty legit. Alright, notice my healers, or I say healers, my engineers. So let's get these ARC Troopers up. I think that's all of them that I made. I'm gonna go ahead and put some reinforcements back in here. Maybe we'll have 6 units to kind of hang out in here.
Rocket. On the hunt.
Okay, so it looks like we've got this timed out pretty well. I got about 41 seconds
Ready for orders.
before
Location.
my super weapon is ready, and
Relocating.
On it.
Slow and steady.
so we'll get up here and
Location received.
Copy that.
get ready to
position.
go ahead and start hammering them in the head.
Moving.
Forward.
Super weapon ready.
Fun times. Get them. Alright. That was unfortunate.
Awaiting orders.
And there we go. Take the power plants out. All of the turrets not working, so I'm just going to keep working in power plants. He's got 12 seconds left before his goes off, but I freezed it. You'll notice I killed the power plant, so we'll go ahead and take out his little bombardment thing so he doesn't notice it's gone now. All in due time. And if you see these little weird lightning bolt things popping out, those are those ARC Troopers. They're not joking. Like that is hitting for some damage. We'll go ahead and knock out their headquarters. And keep on with the power plants. Oh, and the cool thing about the ARC Troopers, the little lightning bolt things you see, the little, they hit everything. They hit in the air, they hit on the ground, they hit it all. As long as you have something there to counteract infantry, I think infantry is the only thing that don't do massive damage to it. Infantry can mow them down pretty quickly. So as long as you have some kind of unit to counteract infantry, those units, they hit buildings, they hit tanks, they hit buildings, tanks pretty hard. Turrets. Got another HQ up somewhere. The only thing I kind of wish I saw in the game is that I don't see, well, maybe I'll unlock it later, but it's not a part of the interface. I don't see Marine, like I don't see the ability to do Marine or combat. That's one of the things I liked about Red Alert 2 was that, you know, navies and different water units that you could...
Super weapon ready.
Hey, that ought to be it, I think. Unless there's a refinery I missed somewhere. Yeah.
We're done for. Send word to General Carter.
Victory. Fun stuff. So, take a look, the resources collected and everything. You see you get your... So, I got 45 for beating. Now, that's because I've beat it already. 2 for bonus. 16 structure bonus. None for economy bonus because I didn't sit and fidget with the economy. What I did before one time is I locked down just one of their buildings, and then I went around and collected all of the resources on the map, netted somewhere over you know, $100,000 dollars, which, you know, unit prices are pretty low. Like when the most expensive unit I have is like $350, 100,000 will go a long way. So if you do that, you can maximize and make sure that you collect more resources, way more resources than your opponent. You get the good economic boost. So that's the 63 total points towards my tech tree. And so exit the debrief here. You can go back into my faction creator, and you'll notice that I have extra points here that I can now spend on new content to customize my army again and again and again. It's pretty cool, actually. I like the concept. Like I said, there's only a few things I change, but anyway, that is kind of my little initial breakdown or understanding of Forged Battalion. It was a little much at first, just looking at the faction creator. I didn't know what I was looking at. It took me a minute to kind of really look at it and understand, starting with the base faction and realizing what I could do. But once you get the hang of it and you realize, okay, this is the flow, it's really fun. It's a really fun game. I think I put like, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours into it yesterday, just kind of fiddling. I spent the majority of my time customizing units. Not even playing the actual game. Like, I spent a lot of time just in here, like, seeing what I could build, what I couldn't build. So, anyway, it's a pretty fun game. I think if you like RTS games and you're a fan of Command & Conquer series, this is definitely something to play with. So, I guess, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So, I'm just going to transition some scenes now because I want to see if they work. So, we'll transition. All right, see y'all later.